Okay, so you wanted to know more about Web3.
Okay.
And I gotta say, I'm with you.
Yeah.
It's one of those buzzy things that
It really is.
you hear everywhere.
Everywhere you turn, it's Web3, Web3, Web3.
But what does it really mean?
Right.
Like, what is it? So that's what we're going to dig into today.
Sounds good.
And to help us cut through the hype, we've got a little clip from the Tech Horizons podcast that dives into this whole Web3 world.
Love that show.
I know, me too. So we'll be pulling some key insights from that and really trying to understand what this Web3 thing is all about,
Awesome.
what its potential impact could be, and maybe even more importantly, what kind of challenges it's facing.
Yeah, because there's always challenges with new tech, right?
You know it. So should we just jump right in?
Let's do it.
Okay, so to really wrap our heads around Web3, it helps to take a little trip down memory lane.
Totally.
Back to the early days of the internet.
Back when we had to use dial-up.
Oh, man, the dial-up.
I'm dating myself now.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But you know, Web 1, as they call it, was a much simpler time.
It's basic, very basic.
Basically a bunch of static pages.
Yeah.
Mostly text. Kind of like digital brochures.
I like that analogy.
It's a good one, right?
Yeah.
Then came Web 2, and things got a whole lot more dynamic.
It exploded.
They really did.
Social media video streaming.
User-generated content everywhere.
Exactly. It's the internet we know and love today.
Or sometimes love-hate, right?
True that.
But here's the thing. This awesome interconnectivity we gained with Web 2 kind of came at a cost.
Also.
Well, think about it. All that power shifted to a handful of massive tech companies.
Yeah, the big guys.
They became the gatekeepers,
controlling our data,
shaping the algorithms.
deciding what we see and what we don't.
Exactly.
Well, no, they do.
Not really.
Yeah.
And that's where Web 3 enters the picture.
All right, so Web3 is here to save the day.
Well, that's the big idea. It's all about decentralizing the internet.
Right, taking back the power from those big companies.
Precisely. The Tech Horizons folks really hammered that point home. And the key to this whole decentralization thing is something called blockchain technology.
Ah, blockchain.
There it is. The word of the moment.
It is.
But what is it really?
Yeah.
I mean, beyond the hype.
It's more than just a buzzword.
Let's tell me.
It's actually a pretty simple concept at its core.
Okay, I'm listening.
Imagine a digital ledger.
A ledger like for accounting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But this one's for recording transactions. And it's not just stored in one place. It's copied across tons of computers. So it's completely transparent.
Well, yeah, everyone can see it.
Exactly. It's all out in the open.
Right.
And because it's spread out like that, no single entity can control it.
Not even those big tech companies.
Nope, not even them.
Wow.
It's pretty revolutionary.
So that's how Web 3 aims to give power back to users.
That's the gist of it.
Instead of Facebook or Google calling all the shots, control is distributed among everyone.
Exactly.
This is blowing my mind a little.
I know, it's a big shift.
So how would this actually work in practice? Like, what would a Web 3 world look like?
Well, Tech Horizons had some really interesting examples.
Do you tell?
They talked about a decentralized YouTube.
Okay, so no more YouTube as we know it.
Not exactly. It's more like reimagining YouTube. So imagine content creators getting paid directly by their viewers.
Directly.
Yep. No more middleman taking a cut. And they'd use cryptocurrency to do it.
Okay, so cryptocurrency is a big part of this Web 3 thing.
Absolutely. It's like the fuel that makes it all run.
Interesting. So what else did they talk about on Tech Horizons?
Well, they also mentioned decentralized social media platforms.
Like Facebook, but decentralized?
Kind of, but way more user-driven. They talked about using blockchain to create voting mechanisms.
Voting on what?
Well, on things like content moderation policies.
So users could actually have a say in what flies and what gets flagged.
That's the idea.
That's a huge change from the black box algorithms we have now.
It really is.
This is starting to sound pretty utopian.
It's a pretty exciting vision, right?
It is, but let's be real for a second.
Okay, reality check time.
There are some serious challenges facing Web 3.
Oh, for sure. No doubt about it.
I mean, can this technology really handle the billions of users and the massive amounts of data that the internet generates every day?
That's the big question, isn't it? Scalability is a huge hurdle.
Yeah, that's what they call it, scalability.
Yeah.
And even if they figure that out, how do you convince people to actually use this new system?
It's a tough sell.
I mean, we're creatures of habit, right?
Absolutely. We like what we're used to.
And we're used to those centralized platforms.
Even with all their problems.
Convenience often trumps everything else.
So true.
Oh, there's one more big wild card.
What's that?
Regulation.
Ah, yes, the government.
Governments aren't exactly known for embracing disruption.
Especially when it comes to technology.
So how will they react to this whole decentralized, potentially uncontrollable technology?
That's a tough one to predict.
Nobody knows for sure.
But it's definitely something to watch.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've talked about the what and the how.
Right.
But now for the why.
The why.
Why should anyone care about Web3?
That's the most important question.
Well, it's the big deal.
Well, this isn't just about some shiny new tech.
It's bigger than that.
Way bigger. This is about who controls the internet, who owns your data, who gets to shape the digital world we all live in.
So it's about power.
In a nutshell,
Yeah.
It's about creating a fair,
Wow.
more open, more user-centric internet.
That sounds pretty good.
It does.
So we've gone from the simplicity of Web 1 to the dynamic but centralized world of Web 2. And now we're standing at the edge of Web 3 with its promise of decentralization and user empowerment. It's a lot to process.
It is.
And we've only just scratched the surface here.
Right. Web3 is constantly evolving.
New ideas are popping up all the time. It's a fascinating journey to watch unfold.
Absolutely.
But here's the big question for you listening. If Web3 does succeed in creating this fairer, more open internet, what aspect of your online life would you be most excited to see transformed?
What gets you fired up about Web3?
What are you hoping for?
It's a big question.
It is.
And there are no easy answers.
But it's a question worth asking.
It really is.
Because the future of the internet is being shaped right now.
Yeah.
And we all have a role to play.
So keep exploring.
Keep questioning.
Keep learning.
Stay curious, my friends.
The future is in our hands.
I love that. And on that note, we'll wrap things up here, but keep those questions coming. We're just getting started on this Web3 journey.
Until next time.